Well, hello. Welcome to Pepper Zeka. My name's Andre, and it's been a long time since we've seen the echo, I know. But thank you to every single one of you who have joined us. It's really a great pleasure to see you all. Let's take a look at who's there. Fiona Waitsulu, how are you keeping, me dearie? Always good to see you. Buzzy, thank you very, very much. Nick, always good to see you, Nick Miller. What else there? Ina, my wife, will keep it clean. Happy Kai fucking Doodle Friday. No, it's Monday, Sunday. Good grief. Hectic. Yeah, so I haven't been on for a while, and I've been really laid up. It's been I've had some hectic things happening, and there's a lot happening in my life at the moment that is excessively hectic, which is putting a lot of pressure on even trying to do the streams. So I have come to a conclusion that I'm possibly, just for the time being, going to maybe do a stream every second week if possible. Let me know what you think, if it's that bad, if it's horrible, or whatever. If you want times changed, I can't make it later. I can maybe make it earlier, but later is just not an option because it's too late here then. But weekdays are out. Friday night maybe, but Friday everybody's out, everybody's having a joy. But anyway, keep that in mind. If you are wondering why I'm looking like some kind of convict that actually escaped out of some kind of Paulsmore prison or something to that effect, then let me tell you the story. Yes, I've been to South Africa. I'll tell you all about that. That was quite a nice experience. But so I go to this, well, it seems to be a Caribbean barber in South Africa, in PE. And I say to him, 1 finger length on the side and about 3 fingers on the top. Well, this guy just gets this glint of evil excitement in his face, whacks on a number 1 comb and goes throughout my, by that time it was too late. He hit number 1 all over the place. So I'm looking like an escaped convict, courtesy of some Caribbean Mad Max barber in South Africa. So yeah, let me put it on here, then I can actually see what's happening there. Yeah. So so we've had some ups and downs, not much of which I'm going to actually disclose any of it at the moment, because there's so much that is unsure and hanging around. So bear with me if I say to you, there's a lot on our shoulders at the moment, but it is not something that is practically discussable at the moment. We'll tell you as things unfold, but it should take at least about another 4 months to have an absolute unfold. Fiona, it'll grow out. I'm trying to put freaking beard oil, grow hair, everything on my hair to make it grow out. And the only thing that's growing out is my beard. Because when I was actually going to go for like a shave and a hair, and when he went beard, I went no, because I could just see everything going from there as well. So it was like no. So I'm actually going to get myself a little bit more cleaned up this evening as we go along. But yeah, always good to see you guys, and it always picks a person up a bit. So I must say it's very motivational in that sense, except when you hit a Caribbean barber that, I don't know, has some kind of should I say death wish from hell with your hair. But yeah, so we've been pretty hectic towards the end. As you'll see in January, I was also all over the place in that, trying to finish off things in that. And then we put the pups into the puppy hotel. Lovely place that actually looks after them. They don't stay in cages. They're actually in sort of like tiled rooms. And it has a camera in it, so we can log into the camera anytime we want and see our pups and whenever we want. and they take them for walks twice a day. And every time they take them for a walk, they film them and send us a copy of the film of them sending us. So they really, really go out of their way to look after our little mutts over there. How's it, Dylan? How are you keeping, my friend? Always good to see you as well. But what's Fiona say? You could have looked like a billiard ball. Yeah. One time snooker, I'm just going to put some chalk on the side. I feel like somebody sunk me a couple of times already. But yeah. So off they went. So we finished off the Friday. So the cheapest, well, I wouldn't say cheapest, but it was basically the cheapest flight we could get. We had to wait until Monday before we could fly. So Sunday to all the way through to Monday, we was just sort of like trying to pack. Well, I must say, let me in all honesty say, my wife was trying to pack. I was trying to make sense of any form of organization that there was going on. But my wife, without her, we would not have been packed. She got all the packing done. So thank you very much, my dear. But we were eventually packed. On Monday morning, I still had to rush into school. Before we flew, we were flying Monday morning. I had to rush into school to hand in some papers and stuff. And we were struggling to get taxis because it was Chinese New Year. So I struggled, and I nearly walked back from school on Monday morning. And I got here, and I said to her, she said, well, let's book a car now. I said, no, just wait. Because what I did is I bought myself an unbelievably little memory foam bum pillow for the plane so that I could sit comfortably in the plane. And yes, I'm going to tell the story. I know Ino's probably going to throw something at me from the room now. But the thing is, so I bought this little bum pillow, and I've been test driving it on my chair over here. And I eventually get back here, and it's about 10:30, and I'm having a cup of tea, and I'm having a smoke. Good old South African disposable vape still. But anyhow, she says, no, we need to book a car. It's going to be late. I said, no, it's 10:30. We only need to be there by 12. Book a car at 11 o'clock. I sit down to drink some tea and to just take a breath. When next thing, my wife looks at me and she shouts, it's 4 minutes and the car will be here. We're 16 floors up and we haven't locked up yet. So in all our rush and grabbing suitcases and bags and goodness knows what and throwing everything around and falling out the door and into the lift and down the lift and to get piled into this 4 minute to be there car, I get to the airport only to realize my bum taps me on the shoulder and goes, my pillow. So I didn't have a pillow. But the flight wasn't too bad. For a change, we didn't fly Ethiopian Airlines. As I said, Ethiopian Airlines is not my first choice of airlines. However, for those of you who are looking at flying it or have, then I left my bum pillow at home. That's it, Dylan. It's now my Kushu chair pillow, yeah. Keeps me working longer. But, and the strange thing is, I struggle so to wake up in the morning. I struggle my butt off to work in the morning. But the best work that I do is probably between 6, 7 o'clock at night and 12, 1 o'clock in the morning is the best work that I have to, that's when I'm the most awake. That's when I'm getting the most work done. It is absolutely, it's stupid. I don't know if it's like delayed jet lag or whatever, but I will now sit down and work through until 1 o'clock. But the only problem with sitting down now and trying to work through to 1 o'clock is having to wake up at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning and try and look like something is just ridiculous. So a big problem there. Yeah, Dylan, what the end result was that you had to sort of like extend the left cheek and try and ride it on the left cheek a bit and then relax and then extend the right cheek and ride it on the right cheek a bit as we go there. But yeah, as I said, we didn't fly Ethiopian this time. It's not my favorite airline. However, if you do fly Ethiopian, It's not a problem. You get there. If I had to, if it was the cheapest airline that I could get again, I would fly Ethiopian Airlines again. It is an airline that gets you from A to Z. Addis Ababa is a shit little airport, but well, what can I say? It is an airport. So it gets you there. It's not a, I would probably say China Southern was worse than Ethiopian Airline because we flew China Southern to Hangzhou, and we flew China Southern back again, and it uh, it was really not an international airline. I mean, there was no TV screen behind the chair. It seemed shabby. I really didn't like it at all. Ethiopian at least sort of has your entertainment system. That chairs are a little bit smaller than what you want it to be. But fortunately, this time we actually got Cathay Pacific, and I have flown Cathay Pacific when we came to Cambodia before. So, yeah, we were fortunate to go, and Cathay Pacific have much nicer food than Ethiopian Airlines. So definitely so. We enjoyed the flight. You just seem to have that little tad of space more for somebody my size. Just makes it a little bit better. Pull these things off. I'm trying to wear glasses. I'm supposed to wear glasses, but they irritate me. So I'll squint at you for a while and look at the chats every now and again as I go by. But anyway, we eventually bumpaloless dash off here at breakneck speed to get to the airport. Not a problem at all. We get there. Must say though, this time we packed all our vapes into our hand luggage. The last time we flew to Cambodia, we had this little item without the tip, because I got a spare one that we packed into our packed luggage. And when we packed that in, they said to us, there's a problem with your luggage. Can you please go to interrogation or wherever you go for your luggage? So we thought, well, what dang's going on now? And we went around there, and the guy said, you're not allowed to have this little thing in. Anything battery operated, including a vape thing, is not allowed to be in your packed luggage. So we had to take that and put it in our hand luggage. So of course I come home with, like, I think I had 4 vapes with me. I bought 2 disposables in South Africa. I bought this one. It's okay. And I bought this one, but I quite like this one. I still prefer my normal vape though, but I'm just working through these before they get old. But so yeah, I was like vape loaded going through there. Luckily, no one in Hong Kong stopped us with vapes. Apparently, if you go through Singapore, they confiscate the whole lot from you. In Cambodia, they're tolerant of it. Let's put it that way. If you're a foreigner, what's Fiona say? In Nairobi was excellent. I flew from Heathrow to Nairobi and back. Great comfort. Yeah. One day when I'm big, I want to fly business class. Take a look at those little pods that those rich and shameless have to fly in. Is absolutely nauseating when you think you've got to go and pick your seat in peasant class at the back there. It's really, yeah. But it's not worth the money. This is the whole thing. You need your money for your holiday. You need your money for where you're going. You really don't need your money for your flight. Your flight is 25, 26 hours of your whole holiday. To spend half your holiday's money, if not more, on the flight doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, we got there very, very comfortably. And we got to meet some lovely people. We got to meet some of you. I got to meet Alison again. I got to meet Debbie. Lovely people as well. It's absolutely stunners. Absolute stunners. I am very humbled, if I can put it to you, in a honest, earnest way, uh, with the people online that I have met. It is an extremely, extremely humbling experience to actually have met them. So yeah. So what's Fiona say? Vapes have been known to spontaneously combust. Geez, I wish I could spontaneously combust for a change. Mind you, it's been so cold here and rainy. I mean, I have two shirts on and a jacket, and the heater's on. So I don't know how you people are doing on that side, because I was in t-shirts and shorts when I was there. At least we got our feet in the water as well. We arrived there, dead on our feet, and we checked into a guest house. And the very first thing my buddy said, well, I'm coming to pick you up for supper. So off I went, my buddy, for supper. Next morning, we waited for my brother, who was who came through to Johannesburg to visit us. So we stayed in Johannesburg. We left here the Monday. We got there the Tuesday, and then we flew to PE on the Friday. And my brother came the Wednesday. So it was Wednesday and Thursday night. He stayed there, and yeah, it was good seeing him again. But my mum was the best. We flew down on Friday afternoon. And we said to Mom, well, you know what? We don't know if we'll see you Friday afternoon, because it's just getting there and everything, and the whole thing, or everything put together, is quite hectic. So maybe we'll only see you Saturday morning. But lo and behold, obviously we packed our stuff in the car and we went straight down to go and see my mom. And as it would be, my mom was sitting at the door of the old age home, with the hope that maybe we would be pitching in there Friday afternoon. But it was actually such a pleasure and a privilege to actually see her. The old lady is 90. She turns 91 this year. And yeah, we can't take her out very much. We did get her out for a pizza once, and we took her out to my aunt's place and sat and spoke to her there once. Otherwise, we just visited at the old age home. Where's Dylan says, melting here in Cape Town. I am seeing on the weather. I am not watching news or anything that much. Really, I do not get to watch TV. Literally, I do not get to watch TV. I've put my desk in the lounge now because it's too flippin' cold in the office. It is freezing in the office. I put my desk in the lounge, so right in front of me is the TV, so I can switch the TV on sometimes. And yeah. This morning, I think 12 o'clock or 12:30, I was busy working anyway. And guess what came onto CakeNet? Because obviously we're 6 hours ahead of you guys. Orkney Snorkney. So at 12:30 this morning, I'm sitting here working, watching Orkney Snorkney. Can you believe that? Fiona, Debbie, and them, yes, they are absolutely wonderful people. But yeah, no, I was absolutely, besides myself, to see my mom. I can't wait for another year to pass, and God willing, we'll be able to go and see them in a year again as well. Is worrying about life your life? Dylan, probably. You know what? I can help so many people except myself. Yeah, I had an absolutely phenomenal time with my mum. And as I said, I met Alison. Sadly, I think most people do know that Alison's mom passed away, which is very, very sad. Alison isn't on stream anymore. She has other activities that she has taken up with. So it's not because she doesn't want to, or she doesn't want to like to, or anything to that effect. But it's really, it was heartwarming seeing her as well. Saw some of our other friends too. It's, your holiday seems to be this rush every time. I want to go longer. I tried very, very hard to get my driver's license, because I got a temp driver's license quickly in Johannesburg, and so that I could hire a car in PE. And trust me, I don't think anyone on this earth hires a car as clapped out as what I do. But I really couldn't care. It gets me A to B. It gets me A to B, and that's all. Where's old Hendo's red, yellow, blue little city golf? That's exactly what I got. Little city golf like that, no aircon, nothing, wind up windows, rust all over the place, you name it, cubbyhole won't open, whatever. But it went A to B. Yeah. Buzzy, awesome time with my mom. Awesome time. I also tried my driver's license in PE. So what I ended up doing is I made an appointment. Very diligently, I went online, I made an appointment, and I arranged, they said, no, not a problem, with a letter from my cousin with her ID and the letter from me and everything handed in with it. She'll be able to collect it, and then they can DHL it to me, and which would be nice because then I can swap it in for a Chinese driver's license. If you bring your driver's license in, yeah, they will change it over for a year's Chinese driver's license, which is great because I can hire a car here for 2,500 RMB, which is very, very little. Nothing fancy, but you can still get a car, and all the maintenance and everything is taken care of them. You just get to hire it monthly and drive it around, and what a pleasure. And so I thought, great. And oh man, it was such a hectic time because I had a second doctor's appointment. I'll tell you about all my doctor's things as I go along. But at like, I think it was 10 o'clock, and my driver's license renewal appointment was like 20 to 9. And so I rushed to the other side because it was, oh man, I can't remember where the place was. It was 30 Ks away from where I was. Now, if you're in Johannesburg, Cape Town, I suppose 30 Ks is nothing. But driving all over the place on a Friday morning to try and get there. And I'd made this like a week in advance, got my letter to say that I've got my appointment, the whole toots. I get there like at least 15, 20 minutes, rush in there and go, right, you know what, if you're ready, I'm ready, let's go for it. And they're like, I'm sorry, sir, we've been down all week. We don't know when we'll be up again. Yeah, I'm leaving Monday. So I never got my driver's license renewed. So yeah, good old South Africa and their systems are down. Something I did get to experience a little bit more violently was load shedding, which was almost consistent. I think we had more power off than what we had power on. I just sort of like planned my outings to like, okay, we'll go to town now when the power goes off, and we'll get back when the power goes on again, type of thing, because just sitting at home was like ridiculous. Fiona says I had a Jetta, one from a Golf, and it was indestructible. Yeah, my mom had one of those CLX 1800 Jettas without power steering that I had to do my driver's license on. It was like trying to milk a cow that was walking in the opposite direction every time you tried to turn the wheel. But yeah, I got it. But yeah, so unfortunately, I did not get my driver's license this time. So maybe next year. Let's see what happens. But yeah, as I said, there's so much happening. I had to go to the doctor to go and actually see if I can. I eventually got an appointment with a doctor that I saw, but doctors are amazingly expensive these days. Talk about unbudgeted amounts for. The doctor, I think, came to about 1,200. I don't know. My wife could tell you a little bit more. Just to go and see the doctor for that hour. Then off to blood tests, which was another 3,500 rand later. And then back to the doctor again for another 1,000 bucks. 2 days later again. And then if you counting on 6 months of medication, with some of the medication costing 800 rand a box, well, that just like blew my credit card from here to kingdom come. It was absolutely boop. John Muslane, how's it going? Are you keeping? So pleased you were talking to Buzzy. I was wondering if you were calling me Fiki for a moment. I was feeling a little feminine. But yeah, that's good. How's it going, John? Always good. But yeah, so between doctors and goodness knows whatever, trying to get driver's licenses. We went to go and see Ina's brother for a while in Aston Bay, which is right next to Jeffreys Bay. That was nice. But Johannesburg, I don't think I'd stop there that long again. I think maybe a day or two. It was everything was just too expensive. There were a lot of costs that we incurred there that was not necessary. Fortunately, in PE, we stayed with my aunt, which was lovely because we haven't seen her in 5-6 years. Because every time we've been back to South Africa, she's been overseas to go and visit her son in the UK. So this time we actually got to spend some really, really good time with her as well. An amazing lady. Honestly, she's 79, turning 80 next year, and I wouldn't say she's a day over 66 because she is so agile and on the go all the time. Andre, credit card and me don't work together. Well, me neither, but I had no choice. Trust me, when it got to doctor's bills, all of a sudden, there was a little bit of a hard swallow, and yeah, we'll do it. Fortunately, I don't have a South African credit card because there I'm lucky they give me a savings account. Let me put it that way. But then let's take a look. So South Africa was great. Biltong was there. Obviously, food of the day was Cook Sisters, as always. Definitely got our teeth stuck into a pie. But, then you get to think, okay, there's load shedding. Obviously, you got to look over your shoulder consistently for crime and everything to that effect. But I always, and this is why I say to people, I say, you know what? Never, ever, ever wish away, especially if you've got a vested interest in South Africa. If you've got a job in South Africa, if you've got a house in South Africa, if you've got children at school in South Africa, if you are making it month to month, yeah, you might be struggling, but you're making it month to month. Sometimes that's where you want to be. And the thought crossed my mind. Would I, should I, could I, if I doubt I would ever go back to South Africa if I could. Because it's a place that no matter where you go and how long you're away from, it always sticks around with you. It stays with you. Even the people, I mean, I went to a mall and said to my wife, I said, I think we're in the wrong area. And she said, no, this is South Africa. You're quite okay. But the thing is, I don't know. I don't think I would actually get work in South Africa. I think I've got more chance of getting work overseas than what I have in South Africa. But yeah, it's a thought that you sit and you play with. And you think to yourself, you know what? If you got something here now, would you take the chance and give up what you've got? Because South Africa does always stay South Africa. Really, really interested to see what these next elections are going to be like. But yeah, fuel's going up R1.20 a litre next month again. It's a difficult thought to think, because you know what, if you got to think back, and you got to remember one thing, it's like when you go somewhere. Um, Living somewhere and going somewhere for a holiday are two different things. Two absolutely different things. Because when you're there on holiday, your stress is, I don't want to say I didn't have stress because I still had stress when I was there, but it was a lot less. So when you're there on holiday, wherever you go, you have a lot less stress, let's put it that way. And you're doing what you want to do as you like to do. You usually don't have to wake up at the time that you need to wake up. You go when you want to, you sit when you want to. I mean, we honestly couldn't afford to be eating out all the time. So uh, we just bought groceries with my aunt and we just made something when we were hungry. Otherwise, we read books. I don't think I've read a book since I came back from holiday. I actually read a bit while I was on holiday, which was so, so nice. I haven't had the time to pick up a book and read it again yet, which is absolutely a sin. But um, you know what? Being in South Africa, living there, if I was living there under the conditions that South Africa is currently under, and if I had the job that I would be able to get, which would probably be a very pitiful one if I was able to get one, definitely not with this hairstyle, would I um, would I be happy? Or would I just have changed places? The only difference in Asia, now, let me tell you, if you migrate or immigrate to like an Australia, UK, US, Canada, where else? New Zealand, you have the opportunity to actually gain citizenship there. If you do what I've done and you go to Asia, for instance, your likelihood of getting citizenship is pretty much close to zero unless you actually marry somebody with citizenship, which is going to aggravate the wife terribly. I'm kidding. Trust me, in Asia, you don't marry a wife, you marry a family. That's what happens here. The minute you marry somebody or you hooched up with somebody here, you're taking care of the family, the brother, the cousin. You're sending money home to this one. You're taking care of that one's business. This one's moving in with you, and mother and everybody. You do not want to. Trust me. In Asia, you do not want to get hooked up with anyone. You are going to hook yourself up with more than just one person. Trust me on that one. But that's about the only way that you could possibly, and that is also only a possibly get citizenship. So that's the only downfall about actually going to Asia is you never actually able to obtain citizenship as such. But let me get back to Africa. So we're around Africa, and I'm around there, and I'm thinking I could live in PE. I could really just live in PE. But yes, the other strange thing is, so Saturday afternoon, let's go to town. What town? Everything's closed. Everything's closed. It's like, what do you mean everything's closed? Oh, well, we'll just go on Sunday. No. They close early Sunday too. And that's one thing we were used to in Cambodia. And what I must say is probably out of all the places that I have lived, the least amount of stress that I've ever had in my life was Cambodia. It is probably the most least stressed place that I've stayed. And it's an option to go back to sometime, maybe. It's not off my books either. But we'll have to see how our year goes and what brings and what comes. But everything's open. Sunday afternoon, you have a problem with your computer at 4 o'clock, you take it into the computer shop at 4 o'clock because they're probably only closing at 6, 7 o'clock tonight. You want to have a coffee at Starbucks, you pop in on Sunday afternoon. Well, I think Starbucks are open, yeah. I don't know. I think so in South Africa as well. But it's just like everything. The malls were closing. Everything was closing. It's like, oh, we've got to hurry up. Why do we need to hurry up? Everything's closing. It's like, why? Is there load shedding? Talking about load shedding, I don't know if they load shed the airports, but we were busy checking in at our Tambo on the way back when next thing everything went dead, whammo, down. And I don't know how long we stood. Obviously, we can't get upset with the lady at the counter because she's trying to help us in the process. And everything's done. There's nothing they can do. You just stand there and wait and wait and wait. So I don't know if it was a power down at the airport or if the country's dumb enough to load shed the biggest airport in the southern hemisphere of Africa. Let's take a look. I haven't looked at the chat yet. John says, closed my credit card a long time ago. John, I didn't have a credit card either. I've never really been interested in a credit card. The reason I had to get one is I actually got one in Cambodia, and it works actually very nicely. You'll enjoy this one, John, because in South Africa, you cannot rent a vehicle. You cannot rent a car, not even the piece of clapped out banger that I did, without a credit card. You must have a credit card. But now, the nice thing about the bank that I worked with in Cambodia is you pay in X amount of money. So you need to have $3,000 in the bank. They put that into a fixed account, and they will give you 90% credit of that on a credit card and give you a credit card to that. So your credit card is never really in debt. You're never in debt. If you end up not being able to pay your credit card, you would dissolve your fixed account and your credit card's paid. Not that you want to get to that point in life. And obviously your interest rate on your credit card is a little bit higher, etc., etc. But you would enjoy a credit card like that because that works for me because I never sit there going over and over and over. They never offer you increased limits and increase your limit for this and increase your limit for that. What you've got in your fixed deposit, 90% of that is what you've got as credit on your credit card. And that's it. So you might enjoy that type of credit card. And that helps me to be able to rent the vehicle. Sometimes I've once had a problem on the internet. Usually my Visa debit card from Cambodia works. That I'm able to purchase online. Once I've had to use my credit card, but otherwise I just use my Visa debit card. Funnily enough, there are two banks in South Africa that do accept Union Pay. Now, my Chinese card is a Union Pay card, and Standard Bank and Absa Bank, I could both draw money from my Chinese from my Chinese savings account in South Africa. Very, very interesting. Most of the other F&B you can't. I didn't see Capitec. I didn't try them. But where you saw the Union Pay, you could actually draw cash from your Chinese card there as well. But yeah, I know a credit card is a vicious circle of putting you into debt. But this one that I have is pretty stable. And as I said, I don't actually get more than what I have on it. And it does give me all the advantages of a credit card without actually going into a massive amount of debt, which really, really helps in that sense. What closed my credit card? What Buzzy says, it definitely does stick with you. And Dylan says, as long as you don't say fall pregnant, don't be American. No, don't fall pregnant, dude. At my age, if anybody says they have a tyke, I'm going to be suicidal. Luckily, the Mrs. Baby room is a playroom, so there is no ways that we are going to end up being more than parents than to Ozzy and Jesse. Petrol going up next week, Tuesday. Absolutely mad. Definitely can't go back. My medical bills are too horrendous. Yeah. Why are the shops closed at weekends in SA? My question as well. I mean, I used to work my ass off in the malls and that. It's probably because it's in a smaller town like Orange City, like Pretoria, like Port Elizabeth. But like 1 o'clock, they're closing. I think they close a little bit later on a Saturday afternoon, but on a Sunday at 1 o'clock, everything's closing. And a Saturday afternoon, your smaller stores and that are also just like closing. So you can't really go to stores. Not that I can go to stores in China. As I said, everything is very much online over here. Um, I, I, I miss, probably that's one of the things I miss about Cambodia, is because the wifey and I were talking about it the other day. I have not hardly seen. There's a beautiful place here that everybody has to see. It's called the West Lake, and if I can actually ever get to see it, I'll show you some photos of it. But I literally spend my days between the four walls of my apartment. I get into a car in the morning. I go to school. I spend my days there at school. I get back into a car and I come back here again. Um, last when was it? Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. My wife was helping me get the classroom fixed up. I think we finished there at 9 o'clock on Sunday night at school. Why the stores are closed? I don't know. Ask the South Africans online. Am I just talking nonsense or whatever? Dylan, what's it? African intelligence. That's Moron, the military intelligence. Two Harvard lanes just flew. Two Harvard lanes just flew past planes. Oh, okay, planes. I don't know. It sounds like gunfire here half the time, because every time somebody breaks ground for a building, or every time a building's finished, they shoot firecrackers. Whether it be in the middle of the day or the middle of the night, they shoot them off. It's like you can't see anything in the day, but they're shooting firecrackers. Yeah. So that's one of the things. I would have loved to have seen Chinese New Year. I would really have loved to have seen Chinese New Year in China, but it was well worth going home, because I'm not going to be able to go home in the long holidays in July, August. There's a couple of things that we need to take care of there, and see what happens. But as I say, hopefully we maybe get out somehow. I don't know when, because at the moment things are hectic. I'm juggling a whole lot of balls, In, almost said including mine, but yeah. What John say? Cherry Bomb King. These guys have magnificent fireworks here. Cherry Bomb is like what you light your cigarette with here. China has magnificent fireworks, and you must see the during the Asian Games, the way they did up the buildings and everything. If I can actually pull these things off my phone, although I got a new phone, because what works in China, Google doesn't work in China. Android is not your favorite friend in China. My favorite phone is not the best to work in China. So now I've got a phone that I'm struggling to work. I swear I'm getting old. I swear. It just must be I'm getting old, because hell, now I've got to try and work a new operating system. But yeah. Tennis ball size crackers, Andre. Tennis ball size crackers. I remember the days, John, when we went with the scouts. We went down river camping, and we used to go down with boats down the river. And then we found a place to camp, and people used to go just rowing out onto the river. And we used to mix these big bottles of brake fluid and chlorine and throw it into their boats and watch them bail out again. But otherwise, how's everybody doing in South Africa? How's South Africa really doing? Because as I said, it's different when you're on holiday. On holiday there, funnily enough, I could wake up when I wanted to. Guess who woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning over there? Me. It was absolutely mad. 6 o'clock in the morning here is an absolute tragedy for me to try and wake up at. 5 o'clock in the morning on holiday, I couldn't go back to sleep again. So I don't know. I don't know how life works. And I'm sure by now we should be over load shedding, not load shedding, jet lag. But also by now, hopefully, my meds should be kicking in as well, because Doc gave me a whole new set of meds and things to that effect. And she said, "Oh, well, when are you going back to school?" I said, "Well, I'm going back next week." She says, "Well, I need to book you off another week." I said, "You have no idea what my school is like. You either send them a death certificate or you rock up at school. One of the two." So, I've been going with it. But my wife has been really, really good handling things with me. Yeah, my brother's also having buzz. I know. I think my brother and his wife gets a grant because of her neck, but they won't give her a grant and a pension. You can either have one of the two, apparently, in South Africa. I don't know how it works in South Africa. You can have a grant or a pension, but you can't have two, so you can choose. If I'm not too sure if you can choose or whatever. But she gets her grant, and he gets his pension, and I don't know how they get by. And that's why I say, being on holiday there in one way and coming back and living, I suppose, even with all the drama, is I would be there with probably the same drama and something else going on. But I don't know how people really live. What's South Africa like these days? You know, what keeps you there? What stops you from leaving? And I can tell you what stops you from leaving. As I said, any vested interest, because if you're prepared to end up anywhere else in the world with a shirt on your back, and if you're wanting to go to some place like Australia, New Zealand, UK, USA, you better have a lot of money when you're able to leave there. And I don't think our passport carries much status anymore. There's, your passport's as good as a Pakistan passport these days. Pakistan and South Africans this side, the elite go the other side. No, I'm kidding, but yeah. Something else at our Tambo that actually irritated me. While I'm busy on the lines of irritations, and then I'll tell you what I'm working on myself a bit for at the moment, and things that I read in a book that I'm actually quite chuffed about. First of all, you get to like this immigration line that you've got to get into in South Africa. Now, most of the places like Hong Kong, you see these massive people and you think, I am going to stand here forever. And next thing you just like drift through. Everything goes through. Everyone's working. You get to OR Tambo. I think there's 8 booths. 8 booths. And 2 people are working. There's 2 of them working. 6 are empty. So this whole crowd that's just got off an full international plane, plus all the other international planes that are coming, are trying to mosey through 2 people. Unfreaking believable. And then you get to a place like Hong Kong, where you actually start at immigration, you scan your face, and then everywhere else, when you go onto the plane, they don't even take your ticket. They show you 2 little footprints. You stand on, you look at the camera, the gate opens because it recognizes you, picks up your photo. Some terrible photos that were taken of me a little bit earlier, and didn't realize they were taking photos. And so when you get to the other side to go onto the plane, picks up your photo, and there, yeah, that's actually me. I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were taking a photo of me. But yeah, and that happens as you go along. But everything just scans through. They just scan you through, and it just works. It works like you will not believe. It's one thing I must say. The other thing I must say is OR Tambo's a fantastic airport. It is a phenomenal airport. It has a whole shopping mall and everything in that airport. It is one of the nicest airports to be in, is our Tambo, because you got a lot of choice, a lot of walking around you can do. You can go to Woolworths, you can go to this place, you can go to that place. There's so many different places that you can go into. I must say, for international airport, our Tambo's got really, really good standards. If only they had a couple of people that were working a little bit more in immigration. Although the people that check you in are very nice, except when there's like, I don't know if it was, as I said, I don't know if it was load shedding that took us down, but how do you load shed an airport? I just don't get that. But yeah. What are we looking at? Why not leaving South Africa? John says medical reasons, unable to leave. Foreign countries won't accept me. That's also true, John. And then as well is, if you are making it through in South Africa and you're stable there, it's not a good idea to leave, because you're not going to find it any better anywhere else, really. Um, I'm assuming you, but now you actually have a home, and yeah, sure, you've got to look over your shoulder, but anyway, you look over your shoulder. So that's difficult. I mean, even myself, I'm finding it difficult at my age to be able to stick around in a country. And then, as Fiona's pointed out, you know what? That's one thing you're never going to get. I did have it in Cambodia, and I was very, very fortunate to have a close support structure, a group of friends, which we don't have here. But in South Africa, you've always got some close structure friends and support structure that's around you. Someone that's going to put his hand on your shoulder and say, let's have a beer. Doesn't matter when. Nick says, pardon, had somebody over. No, who was it on a Sunday afternoon? Pisses me off. Dylan, ANC do. Alison, hello, me dearie, single again. I am sorry to hear that, me dear. How are you keeping? I was just talking about and thinking about you. Oh my goodness me. It was so lovely to see you. You looked so beautiful and so happy, and the stars were shining in your eyes when we saw you. And I was just talking about whether a person should leave or stay in South Africa. But it's wonderful to see you again, Ellie. It is, really it is. And it was awesome seeing you in PE. You know, it just, she actually makes the effort to actually go out of her way in the worst of times to actually get to see a person. And the thing is, here's the problem with me. As you can see, I'm not even talking to you, and I can't shut up. So you must imagine, if you have to come and sit down next to me, I can't stop talking. I just love chatting. And when I get to sit down next to Alison, oh my goodness me, can we talk? It is phenomenal. The wife's eventually got to like, no, you've got to go now. You've got to go now. But yeah, it's been wonderful. Fiona says, almost no foreign countries will accept a SAFA. We are becoming more endangered species these days, I must say to you. We are. The country is not doing foreigners or SAFAs or South African expats any favors whatsoever at all. You suddenly do get tarnished a little bit harder than expected. Sadly, and I'm not going to say it because of race base or anything like that, but it's a fact. Some of the things that I've looked at, that I've actually just sometimes look at a position and I just apply for it here or there if something looks good. And they ask you, yeah, you from South Africa? And the very next question is, what color are you? I'm like, excuse me, you're not allowed to do that. But I suppose across the sea, there's no there's nothing stopping them from doing it across the sea. What John said, yeah, well established, yeah, finance, home, etc. John, once you've got a home and you've got a foot in the country, there's no ways. As I said, I left because I had the shirt on my back, literally. And that I was fortunate. I was really fortunate. Our bot, our 7-star Michelin chef. It's gone into another year. How are you keeping, my friend? Alison, I'm in hospital. Had a breakdown after the moment passed. Oh, I'm terribly sorry about that. Been in hospital for a week. Was wonderful to see you in again. I hope you don't mind me sharing this. No, I do not mind it at all. I do not mind it at all. I have just mentioned that I saw you, and that's all that I have been able to share. And I will definitely be contacting you on WhatsApp as well. I think you've got my WhatsApp. I think I've got your WhatsApp too, somewhere along the line. So I will definitely. And you know what? I don't want to be funny. When I had my crash and burn, the best thing that ever happened to me was spending 3 weeks in hospital. It was like a battery recharge. You just suddenly start practicing your coping mechanisms a little bit better. It's a good couple of years back, but some days you just want to crawl back there again. Our bot, hello everybody. Alison, sending you love, thoughts, and prayers. Yeah, we're all with you. Hearts for you, Alison. Big vibe. There we go. Although you don't smoke, start vaping. It's like a security blanket. It's terrible. I'm terrible at school. I tell you, I I tell you what the little girl tells Ina. She was there for this like International Friends Day, and of course I run off into the toilets quickly in between a break, and I quickly and I come back again. And Ina goes to this little girl, and she's the cutest little girl that there is, called Chris, and she says, Ina says, "Where's Mr. Marie?" She says, he's in the toilet. Oh, she says, he always goes to the toilet. He keeps on going to the toilet. I think it's because he drinks so much coffee and so much water that he's always just going to the toilet. Yeah, it's because I drink so much coffee and water that I go to the toilet. I also found out that if you vape carefully in an airplane toilet, it doesn't pick it up. Just a thought. I wouldn't advise anyone trying it, but yeah. What's Nick say? I think South Africa's foreign policies also hampers acceptance abroad. Definitely, definitely. They're trying to stick their fingers into their pies that aren't there, that don't belong to, and they're not looking after their own. But yeah, what was I going to say? I was reading a bit of things called the Now Moment or something like that, and I actually need to complete it a little bit, because as I was reading this book, it's like this and this and this and this, and I'm going like, that's exactly me. That's me. This whole lot. This is just me. And apart from the fact that it's not in this book, that I've got to get used to is every time I have a lot of work to do. Sometimes it is not of my own accord, and sometimes it is people that have inadvertently just shifted work onto my plate to do, etc., etc. And I can do it, but I resent it. And I spend so much time resenting it, so much anger, so much bitterness, so much time. Would I dare go down the road to say hatred, to have to do this additional extra work and all of that, because it's not really supposed to be like that? Is number one, with a bullet that I'm actually trying to work against, and to tell myself, you know what, it is what it is. What's John, I can't remember his book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, just do it, is the one thing. And the other thing that I have a problem with is taking a break. The minute I am taking a break, or I'm calmed down or something, I'm thinking work, I'm like, I'm flogging myself. I am totally guilty of not working. I could be doing this, I could be doing this, I could be doing this. And I said to Ina the other day, I said, you know what? Every time we go and take a look at a temple or someplace, museum, whatever like that, I almost run through the place to get through it and go, right. Now we're done. Let's get back home again. You know what? And what this book is actually sort of saying is, yeah, it's important not to put things off, but it's important that when you are off, that you actually take time off and allow yourself the time off. And that's something that I'm also struggling a lot with at the moment, is allowing myself time off. And that's why I don't want to kick this stream totally, because I just want to put it on every second week at the moment, just to keep it and just to actually realign myself a little, and then I'll put it back on weekly again, hopefully, as if everybody doesn't leave. But the thing is, uh, even when I'm streaming, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? You shouldn't be doing this. You're having fun, and you should be working. This is not acceptable. These type of things, we need to start learning to accept things like that. And that's a little bit of a challenge to me, is just accepting things and I've never been called this before, but the doctor said you need to stop being a perfectionist. I went, you have not seen my room, you have not seen my suitcase. This isn't what we're talking about. We're talking about, if I do something, I need to be able to see A to Z. I need to see that it's done 100% properly. And it's not a matter of just getting it done, it's a matter of getting it done perfectly. Should there be any form of criticism out of that, I take it so personally that I beat myself up to pieces. And it is what it is. Sometimes you do things and something's wrong, and we've got to tweak it, or we've got to fix it. And that's fine. But I just don't get things done because I'm not doing it, because I cannot get it perfect. And we've got to worry about that. So that's the first time somebody's ever called me a perfectionist. So strangely enough, while we're going into medical details, and I know my hour's up now as well, um, I wouldn't I wouldn't say I'm as depressive as what a more anxious person, or whatever. And we did blood tests and a whole lot of tests, and trust me, it was a shitload. That's why I said I didn't budget for the kick in the stomach that I got from the expense of my doctor's bill. And the doctor said, like, I think you have ADHD or ADD or something like that. I'm like, if you know how lethargic and how no life I have in me, you will not go there. And apparently, it's not hyperactivity that is ADD. It's actually just lack of concentration. You get bored with something, or you easily get distracted to something else, and something takes your distraction off, and then next thing you're busy with something else, or the distraction, or you end up being bored with something, and yet you don't focus on something. So now I'm refocusing again. So I don't know. Ek moet focus. Ek moet focus. What Fiona say, stop and smell the roses. You see, that's why I check a rose, I go, cool rose, let's go. What's John say? Vape in the plane cabin. There's a trick to that. I have not tried that one out yet. I wasn't what's in that? But yeah. But yeah, so that's my story that I've gone with so far. I've just jabbered in your ears. I would love to sit around a table with every single one of you and actually have you talk back to me. I love the chat. I know you've got it on chat, but it would be actually nice. We should possibly try and have a call in sometime. I don't know. I'm not going to stream next weekend. I'll stream the weekend after next now. Um, there is the group. I do go onto the groups sometimes. I'll try and probably, let me see if I can actually maybe just hit the group a little bit more, maybe in these next 2 weeks than I used to, because I'm only going to be every 2 weeks. As I said, I'm just absolutely annihilated at the moment. It's been awesome. You know what, you guys really push and keep me going. And as I said, there's just demons that you fight yourself, and then there's physical things, as I said, going on, which unfortunately I'm not able to divulge. That should take about 4 months more before I can actually say to you, well, this is happening, or that happened, etc., etc., and this is why I was looking like some kind of bushwhacker, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah. Where am I staying? Good luck with the work. John, I am currently based in Hangzhou, Hangzhou. Hangzhou, they call it. Not Zhou, apparently, but it's spelled Hangzhou in China. It's just it's about 180 k's from Shanghai. Um, so, yeah, very beautiful place. If only I can get to see it. But yeah, as I said, my greatest dream, I have a dream, and that is to sit around a table with every single one of you guys and actually have a proper chat, because I think that would take all night. We need to find a restaurant that's not going to close. It's going to be so awesome. We're going to be able to go deep. We're going to be able to go high. Uh, don't leave your roots. Your roots are beautiful. If there's any way that you have a root in Africa, cherish it, nurture it. I know the grounds aren't always the way you want it to be or how it should be turning, but as long as you're able to keep that root, I would say keep that root. Going places is always good as a holiday, but trust me, everything that you pack in stress and work over here is the same as work over there. The least stressful place I had was Cambodia, and that even had its own little ups and downs and things to that effect. But yes, keep yourselves the way you are. Don't resent things. Try and go with the flow. Take the time, as Fiona said, smell the roses, be good, take care, and if you can't be good, at least be kind. Cheers, guys.